I've witnessed many demolitions in my time. Some have required the brute force of heavy machinery, others the skill of an explosives team. But every now and then you come across the trickier ones, where simply blowing or smashing up a building isn't an option.
And that's why today we're in London, England. Like many other cities around the world, London is going through major redevelopment. An ever-growing population need more homes to live in, and a lot of the city's existing stock is outdated and simply not fit for purpose. The development of places like here in Lewisham, South London is rapid. Modern tower blocks are virtually springing up overnight, replacing their older predecessors. Every square foot of land is being utilised to squeeze as many new homes in as possible. And that's when you end up getting into situations like this. An ugly great housing block built in the 1960s, literally standing within touching distance of the new and improved blocks growing up around it. And it's time this beast was put down. But that's far from a straightforward job. The demolition team tasked with flattening this 5-floor eyesore are going to have to do so without damaging the brand new buildings standing mere metres away.
This is what I refer to as a surgical demolition. Precision is vital. This is not a job for the faint-hearted. One slip up and by the end of the day we could have more buildings on the floor than we bargained for. And that could spell disaster not just for the local residents, but also for the team behind the demolition.
And that team is Downwell Demolition. They've been in the game for over a decade, and if anyone can successfully bring down this huge block without a hitch, it's them.
We like to think we're problem solvers. So if there's a project that's particularly complex or unusual, we'll always look to try to find a way to carry that work out, because it's almost a bit of a challenge for us to take those jobs on. Taking a building down of that height has to be done carefully, with the right machines in the right order, so that there's no risk of an uncontrolled collapse.
18 metres high and 90 metres long, the team will need to exercise extreme caution taking this block down, especially if they don't want to bring any extra buildings down with it. This extremely complex demolition has 3 main phases. Stage 1, divide and conquer. Chomp straight through the middle of the block and turn one building into 2. Splitting the building in 2 reduces the risk of any uncontrolled collapses having a knock-on effect to the rest of the building. Stage 2. Attack the segment furthest away from the surrounding properties and begin chewing away at the brick from left to right. Stage 3. Bringing down the final part, literally make or break. This is where they'll make this one of their most successful jobs to date, or break a brand new block of flats full of unsuspecting residents. But before any of that can happen, the inside of the building needs to be completely gutted.
At the moment, we're finishing off the soft strip. We've taken all the door frames, window frames, any flooring, cabinets, and anything else that would contaminate the hardcore. Every room's been done in here at the moment, apart from the bathroom.
The soft strip might seem like the least hazardous part of the job for the men on the ground, but in these older buildings, there is a hidden killer that lurks around every corner: asbestos. This naturally occurring mineral was used as a building material in the 19th and 20th centuries until it was discovered that breathing in asbestos fibres can cause serious and fatal illnesses.
The person in charge of assessing that risk on this job is Tina Ward.
Asbestos is a big danger. Majority of demolition sites will have some form of asbestos on them, depending on the age of the building. Usually buildings up to the year of 2000 can still contain asbestos. It is all a type 1 carcinogen, so you can have breathing problems, you can end up with lung conditions. It could kill people. It is serious.
Tina can't leave any stone unturned. If the machines moved in and began crunching walls with asbestos still in them, they could send a cloud of deadly particles into the atmosphere, putting the lives of everyone on the site at risk.
We knock holes in buildings, we take up floors, we knock holes in walls, ceilings, we take off doors, so that we are being completely intrusive. In properties like this, we can find it in sinks, under the sink pads. We can find it in the floor tiles. We can find it in adhesives. You're likely to find it in ceilings on Artex. You can have window sills that contain asbestos. So really anywhere in a property like this, we are likely to find it.
In an old building like this, it's no surprise to Tina that she detects traces of asbestos. Simply breathing in one fibre of the poisonous material could cause lung disease. Moving it herself without adequate protection could endanger her life. Tina has taken no risks and called in expert asbestos remover Neil Douglas.
We were dealing with white chrysotile asbestos. It was in a woven technique, so it's really tight bonded.
Asbestos is at its most dangerous when it's dry. Attempting to move it in this state could put Neil's life in danger.
We were soaking it with surfactant and water and removing it.
Final sweep complete and the all clear given. It's time to start stage one, destroying the middle section of the building. Separating the block is vital. Isolating the segment closest to the neighbouring building reduces the chance of a disastrous domino effect should something go wrong at the other end. As always, demolishing something that stood strong for over 50 years isn't going to be easy. The boys will be relying on some heavy-duty machinery to help them get the job done.
Got some fairly sizable machinery on site.
We're knocking down the blocks using a variety of machines with hydraulic attachments, breakers, munchers, and a lot of handwork as well.
The king of them all is this beauty. Known as the High Reach, this is the demolition equivalent of a saber-toothed giraffe. This gas-guzzling gargantuan has a hydraulic arm capable of extending up and over the top of even the highest buildings. Its powerful head is able to snip through steel as if it were paper. With machines in place, it's time to get this tricky demolition underway. But Rome wasn't demolished in a day, and this job favours finesse as well as force.
Matty in the long reach brings the building down, the roof and the top two floors.
But working at this sort of height poses massive risks. There's no choice but to drag the rubble onto the ground below. A job made all the harder by being on such a confined site.
If any material falls from height, it's going to damage property or potentially injure individuals or worse. You have to ensure that materials don't go outside your site area ever.
With Matt so far away from the machine's head, there is a lot riding on his ability to spot potential dangers from a distance. One false move and he could take down much more than he bargained for.
The biggest risk is uncontrolled collapse of the building. If the machine pulled the wrong wall, it can throw walls or fair large sections of the building the wrong way.
If something goes wrong now, before the building has been split in two, the entire structure could come down, and all in the direction of the new blocks next door.
A 5-storey building falling in the wrong direction could have disastrous consequences. They'll work by bringing the walls in individually, bring it down to each slab level, then taking the slabs off, and then the walls below, and working their way down in that manner. Never leaving any particular part of the structure unsupported in any way.
And if that wasn't enough, smashing up so many bricks gives the team something else to worry about.
The major problem we've got on this job is dust.
Just one crushed brick is capable of sending out thousands of dust particles into the air. Times that amount by the number of old bricks in this building, and the boys have a major job on their hands to keep the dust from covering the newly built blocks surrounding them.
We have got 2 fire hydrants pointing at the demolition, which is the best thing you can do for dust suppression. We have got neighbours that are complaining, but we're doing the best we can.
In demolition, every action creates a reaction. Dismantling one part of a building might cause others to start coming away too. So every precaution needs to be taken to prevent that from happening.
As this demolition moves from its first to second phase, the team will firstly need to deal with a large piece of steel attached to the apex of the roof to prevent it coming down onto something it shouldn't.
The problem we've got a steel which is positioned up on the pillar there at the front, and once we go through that, the whole gable end with the tiles on it free falls, so we've got no control. So we're going to progress through that this morning nice and slowly.
The gable, a triangular steel hoarding covered in tiles, is a major accident waiting to happen. Once the building starts moving, it risks collapsing without warning. An uncontrolled breakaway like that could be fatal on a cramped site like this with so many people around. Matt's going to have to remove it before that happens and before we can move into stage 2 of this job.
The risk is that once that steel's released on this side here, the gable free falls with the tiles on. It's very heavy, about 3 tons, and sometimes it splatters heavy on the tarmac road.
They might be able to bring it down with some level of control, but something that big becomes unpredictable as soon as it's detached. Their aim is to get it to come clean off and fall vertically to the floor. If it partially holds on, it could swing before releasing off in the wrong direction. Worst case scenario, onto Matt in the high reach. As these things go, that fell pretty perfectly. With the steel gable gone, the team can now start the bulk of the work.